Good morning, I'm live in Costa Mesa, California, and this is your Namaste Today. Namaste, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to Namaste Today in the Zodiac weather. My name is Christopher Witecki. I am the sensei to Sirius joy, here to stand in my heart each day and walk in the light. It is a pleasure to walk again with you. I'm love casting live in 5 dimensions on this beautiful garden setting of Gaia on Monday, May 4th, 2015. And today we are rebounding off of a very intense full moon in Scorpio as step 14 rules the day. Now, step 14 comes down to, I think where I belong. It's loving and trusting where we belong. And what it has to do with is bringing our mind to a new conclusion of where we think we belong. And where we think we belong is a big deal. The mind has a lot of power in our daily life. I call it the smart ass for a reason. It always thinks it's smarter than we are. It always thinks it has a smarter answer than one before. And it never seems to want to settle on a given answer. So the mind needs to be pointed to other states of awareness, and today it's pointed to the I belong state of awareness. Now, in the last 24 hours, we've had a full moon in Scorpio, where the moon has opposed the sun in Taurus, and this ultimately is a tug-of-war, a drawing of lines, if you will, emotional lines, between what will be in your reality and what will not be in your reality. You may be still going through the aftermath of that event. But today, it's time to pick what the correct reality is, and that has to do with where we belong, where we feel we belong, and where we feel we belong in the future. And where we belong is based on what our heart is telling us. But before we dive into how to calculate where we belong, let's first tame that smart-ass brain, shall we? With the phrase of today. I love my manifestations, and wherever they belong. One more time, I love my manifestations and wherever they belong. Now, I don't know about you, but I think wherever they belong is the part that human beings get a little nervous about, right? So it's like, oh yeah, I love my son and wherever he belongs to be married. It's like, oh, but I hope it's not this, this, or this. Oh, I love this and wherever it belongs, but I hope it's not that or that, this or that. You know what I mean? Like, we always belong, but then our mind always has these, disclaimers that we try to throw on it. And today, with Step 14 ruling today, we're actually going to update the disclaimer, we're going to stop the disclaimer, and we're going to align where we belong. So the first thing we have to do is tell the brain very simply, one, that we love our manifestations, so we need to let them be where they belong. We love them. They need to live the way they're supposed to. And secondly, I allow them for wherever they belong. I'm going to stay open to where my manifestations I'm doing this month belongs, whether that's my marriage, whether that's my heart, whether that's my career, whatever it is I'm working on. So one more time to keep it in the mind. I love my manifestations and where they truly belong. And so it is. Because I said so, I thought so. Now the serious step of the day is step 14. Step 14 actually adds to a 5. 1 I love plus 4 I belong equals 5 I think. So 5 is Mercury. It is our thoughts. It is our intellect. It is, at the end of the day, basically the control tower for most of the soul. Here in the age of reason, we've given the power of the mind a little too much credit because actually living on Earth, our thoughts are only 1/12 of our awareness. But today, they are everything. They are what's most important. And it's really because we are changing our belonging. Looking at the architecture of incarnation, it is the 4 that is what I call the keystone step of today. Keystone meaning this is the key step to making your step into your serious joy. So, I belong, as you know, comes up 3 times in the transit. We already talked about it the first time it came up. But this time is probably the most important time, the middle dimension, what we embody. So we're trying to embody, we're trying to step in to this new reality. And this new reality has very much to do with where we belong. And as you can see here, if we make the wrong turn at Albuquerque and embody the wrong embodiment of where we belong, in the next dimension, at 24, when we want to open up to our real receiving, 6, we'll be in the wrong place, the wrong shopping mall, the wrong state. Because in this middle dimension, we made the wrong choice. So today it is very important to listen to your heart and to listen to where you belong. And today, I'm going to help you in your joy quest and how to stick to that track. But before we do, let's take one more step and take a look at today's ruling colors and ruling chakras.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Well, looking at the ruling colors, it starts with orange. Aren't you ready to manifest? Orange is the ruling chakra right now. That is our I manifest chakra. So you want to start the day by loving and trusting who you are and loving and trusting what you are manifesting and centering that orange gut feeling. If you have anything weird going on in the gut, you definitely want to meditate on that today and get to the bottom of what's bugging you. It could be an issue going on with what you're trying to manifest. Then, of course, we move to I belong. I belong comes from the crown chakra, so it is from the crown that we determine where we belong. And where we belong, of course, comes from the heart. So today your crown is open and you are scanning the earth for where your place is. And then lastly, this all adds to I think. Now, I think actually comes from the third chakra. Thoughts and emotions run side by side in a yellow state of awareness. So today the yellow is the final decision. We're trying to get comfort in the yellow. And as you can tell, we may have a problem that starts the gut and ends in the yellow, ends in the gut. And although I think rules the day, because emotions are right next to I think, you might check how you feel if something is bugging you, because the two go hand in hand. Sometimes your emotions are trying to get you to think of something. Sometimes your thoughts are avoiding an emotion. So let's look at the timing of today and take a look at today's cosmic clock. And here we are at the cosmic clock. Well, the sun has progressed to step 14 Taurus today. Step 14 is I love and trust 4 where I belong. And that adds to 5 thinking differently. So we are loving and trusting where we belong, adding to a new thought. And of course, this is in Taurus, which means that we're loving and trusting where we belong to manifest, what we belong manifesting, or who we belong manifesting with. Now, since the ruling state of the day is I think, that begs the question, where is Mercury? Mercury's at step 4. How about that? Look at the coordination of the universe. Step 4, Gemini, which means the I think is thinking about where it is that we belong. I think. And so it's a windy day, both out with me shooting and in your head today. You want to make sure that your mind is on your heart in order to understand where it is you do belong. Now, Venus, where we are receiving, is way up at the end of the scale. Venus is at step 26, Gemini. That means we are ready to come to a decision. 26 is a decision. 2, I feel. 6, I open to receive. And that adds to a decision or commitment. So we are looking to commit to a higher level of receiving, while on a lower level we are thinking about where it is we belong in the first place. Then Mars is at step 24 today, step 24 Taurus, which means we are pushing about what we feel and where we belong, the 4 again. You see how this all works? So we're pushing for where we feel we belong to manifest. We're trying to receive and commit to where we can decide with Venus and Gemini, and our mind is wondering where the hell do we belong in the first place. Now the moon is still full in Scorpio. That makes everyone emotionally defensive today, but the moon is in the higher stratosphere of those steps, so we're setting high emotional boundary. That may mean the future. That may mean like a big change that we're contemplating. It may mean that we are thinking about not repeating an old mistake. But the moon in Scorpio does mean that we are guarded, and everyone you're talking to is guarded too, so have a little patience with your brothers and sisters. Now, Uranus is the ruling planet of I belong. And we haven't checked in on Uranus in a while, but Uranus is at step 18, Aries. And that means that we are loving 1 and deciding 8 who we are, Aries, and ready to act on it. 1 plus 8 makes 9. So Uranus is ready to act. The fact that Uranus is ruling through all these 4s today means that we are ready to move our lives up. We are ready to take it to the next level. We are ready to climb that mountain and go high, and we've got a lot of energy. Now, you may feel breakdown or anxiety or have things fall apart on you if you're not addressing where you really belong, because this energy is pushing for change. And if you're resisting that change, you're just going to make it a little bit harder. Now, speaking of difficult, one transit I do want to point out is Mercury is squaring Neptune right now. Now, Mercury squaring Neptune means that we are facing thoughts versus fantasy. That's Mercury versus Neptune. Thoughts versus God, logic versus intuition, and working out fears between those two. So you may find that your mind thinks one thing, but you're afraid of that truth. Those sorts of fears are what is going to be we're going to be working out here. Neptune is at step 9, which means we're ready to, step 9, act on spirit. And you know Mercury is ready to think about where we might belong. This square is going to intensify for some time. And since we're in Pisces, let's take a quick look at Chiron. Chiron has progressed all the way to step 20 now, which means we are healing our feelings and protecting our feelings as it relates to passion, step 20. And this is a healing. So in other words, as you step out to find out where you belong, manifest where you belong, protect your feelings, open up, all this, you're actually setting the stage, step 20, to heal your passion. So there are 2 towers of truth I want to take a look at today. Let's first look at the Gemini Tower of Truth. Taking a sneak peek of what's going on really next month, we have Mercury at step 4, as you can see, and we have Venus way at step 26. Now, one of the things I teach in my Joy Camp and in other places is what I call the step difference, or the step differential. The step differential in this case is a step 22. There are 22 steps between 4 and 26. And that means that in order to capture this consciousness, you want to focus on the 22, the quantum breakthrough. Now, looking over at the Tower of Truth in Taurus, we have a step differential that's a little different. The Sun today is, of course, at step 14. Mars is at step 24. So the step differential in Taurus is manifestation. It is a manifestation that's between these 2 states of awareness and manifestation that we must come. So to kind of boil it down simply here in all this wind, by the way, thank you for your tolerance with the wind. I have had such a step forward time trying to shoot without a lot of noise today. I certainly hope it comes out, but hey, you're going to be a roving sensei reporter, that's what's going to happen. But nonetheless, today, despite these differentials, what I get this down to is today is a quantum day. It's time to step into quantum change. It's going to manifest to the differential in Taurus. It's going to be a quantum change to the differential in Gemini. And to help you with both of these changes and keep it simple, let's look at today's Joy Quest. Your Joy Quest, should you choose to accept it, is go cold on the old. It's been my experience that a lot of people have a hard time ending up where they belong because they don't let go of where they don't belong. They don't go cold on the old. You have to detach completely, mentally, emotionally, physically, from anything you don't belong to in order to be law of attracted to what you do belong to. So go cold on the old. Now, by the way, resisting temptation is not going cold. You're putting energy into resisting. Going cold means you pay attention to something else. Ideally, what it is you're trying to manifest, like focus on that. And I'll give you one more clue today, my friend. Because we're in Taurus, it's highly likely that the old will be right in your face. That you've got to go cold on the old when it's right there, bugging you in your face, and you've got to focus on something else instead. That's what real mastery is. Just like all this noise in this park right now, and I'm still going cold on all that and focusing on what I'm manifesting with you. Now, for those of you who watched over in my personal Sensei network, I'm going to be helping you out with what to go cold on. At 9:09, I'll tell you exactly what you need to go cold on in your present life right now. At 11:11 a.m., I'm going to actually talk about what area of life you have a hard time going cold with. So where your kryptonite is, where you're always a softie, where you always give in at 11:11. And then at 3:03 p.m., I'm going to talk about where you are naturally a cold bastard. So each of us are naturally cold somewhere and naturally warm somewhere else. At 3:03, I'll talk about where you are naturally cold. Incidentally, if you'd like to join the Personal Sensei Network, I've got a new Personal Sensei audio greeting that comes out once or twice a week to help you along your way, and many new features. You can start in 36 hours. Come on down to SiriusJoy.me. And now on to today's telepathy. I'm thinking of Tauruses, of course, in today's telepathy. And today, we're going to switch to something Taurusers are known quite well for, producing. Tauruses are manifestors. They are natural-born producers. And so I'm going to be thinking of one of these 3 natural-born Taurus super producers. Which super producer am I sending to your brain from my temple right now? Is it, drumroll please, the super producer of The Simpsons, Taurus James L. Brooks? Number 2, the super producer of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg? Or number 3, the super producer of so much television from Love Boat to 90210, Aaron Spelling? Which super producer am I thinking of? I'll have the answer right after this. Do you always date the boring person because it's safe? How come you always date the cheater? Are you always dating someone that tries to boss you around? Really? How come you're always dating your grandpa? Come on, you got father issues. Admit it. This is the video that answers all your questions. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. When it comes to the secrets of you and love and you and lust, we cover it all. All those sexy secrets are available at secretsofbirthdays.com. And welcome back to Namaste today. So for the answer to today's telepathy, I'm thinking of a super producer, Taurus. Am I thinking of number 1, James L. Brooks, number 2, Mark Zuckerberg, or number 3, Aaron Spelling? And the answer is James L. Brooks. Not just because he's the creator of The Simpsons and so much great comedy, but I didn't know until today he has my birthday. He's a step 18 Taurus. Oh my goddess, no wonder. It's so funny. You should really research who has your same step number, because I'll tell you, every time I find another person with my birthday, I realize I love myself so much more. So let's move on to today's rock and roll gospel. Considering we have a full moon and step 4 is the keystone step, I thought we needed a song that would kind of chill us out today and bring us back down to calm blue water. So I've chosen an old classic. This man put the Bing in Bing before Microsoft. I'm talking about Bing Crosby. And Bing Crosby was a step 12 Taurus, which is the same step as James Brown. Remember we did James Brown on Friday, opening new doors? Bing Crosby is also the same. In fact, how many, Christmas albums and what do you still have with Bing Crosby? My grandmother still has Bing Crosby albums, I remember, in her attic. So today I thought we'd use a classic of Bing Crosby. And that simply is, my page is blowing here, Swinging on a Star. I want to make sure I get his song correct, Swinging on a Star. So if you're having a hard time, play this little song. I played it this morning because I was really irritated having to go out in the wind. And play Swinging on a Star. It'll help you get into your heart and remind you of where you truly belong. But before you go off and listen to some Bing, let's take a look at the moods of each of your brothers and sisters today, and a special soul vitamin. And today in your special soul vitamin, I'm going to talk about where each of the 12 zodiac races, I believe, should go cold on the old. Where ought you to go cold on the old? In the 11 steps of Sirius joy, starting with the hidden step, step 0, the Scorpios. Scorpios, sunny and super cool today. That's because the moon is full in your sign and coming down off that apex. But I believe you should go cold on the old mirage behavior. So the way you used to treat yourself, just go cold on that. And go cold on anyone who treats you that old way as well. Step 1, the Leos, sunny, nesting, and recharging their batteries today. But it's time to go cold on the old career path or any failed work relationships. Step 2, the Cancers, sunny and super childlike, which means you might feel hurt if you don't tend to that inner child. But Cancer, it's time to go cold on the old friendships or any organizations that you disagree with right now. Step 3, the Sagittariuses, sunny and definitely withdrawn. This full moon is in your house of faith. But it's now time to go cold on the old health regimen or go cold on the old work environments. Step 4, the Aquarians, sunny and super professional today. But it's now time to go cold on your childhood pain. So turn your back on your childhood pain. It's time to move on. Step 5, the Geminis. You are sunny and hyper aware of your reality, but it's time to go cold on the old nightmares and the old fears. Step 6, the Librans. Sunny and super manifesting today. This full moon's in your house of manifestation. But Libra, it's time to go cold on anyone you don't trust and any behavior of yours that you don't trust anymore. So go cold on that old behavior. Step 7, the Pisces. You are sunny and I would say super philosophical. That's the best way to put it today. But it's time to go cold on the old mind games or perhaps go cold on an old fight or argument. Step 8, the Capricorns. You are sunny and rather social today. But it's time to go cold on old heartbreaks or people who have mistreated your creativity. Step 9, the Aries. You are sunny and very withdrawn today. Chance of Randy, depending on how you manifest this full moon energy. But it's time to go cold on old self-esteem issues and go cold on anyone who doesn't pay you what you're worth. The Tauruses, Sunny and super sentimental with this full moon in Scorpio. But Taurus, it's time to go cold on the old behavior in yourself and anyone attached to that old behavior. It could be old fights as well. And then finally, the Virgos. You are, my friend, feeling sunny and super chatty or pensive today. But Virgo, it's time to go cold on the old ignorances or the old self-limiting beliefs. Just open up to unlimited possibilities. So, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you are watching on YouTube, hey, please be kind and do subscribe. We thank you ahead of time. Helps us with our relationship with YouTube. And on Facebook, you can be our friend by navigating to soulgarden.me. And if you'd like to take a part in my new birthday reading special, if you buy 1 hour, you get a free 30-minute free. Come on down to soulmart.me. You'll also find details on my personal sensei service, and I will have details on, of course, the megascopes. They should be out in another 24 hours. I'm afraid to say this wind and noise has held me back just a little bit, so I'll have details on that tomorrow. And, of course, I'm always extremely grateful to you. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for all the warm things you say, Facebook, Twitter, all these places you retweet. I really appreciate you. Have a good day and hook up to where you belong. Remember, go cold on the old. I'll see you in 24. I love you, and live, love, be. This is just so ironic.